I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
Do your own research.
Consult a professional investment advisor before making any investment decisions.
This show is for entertainment only. Faites vos propres recherches.
Here we are
in another episode
of the Simple Success Podcast.
And
this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
What you whistling about, my DT pal? Oh, just whistling down the pathway, looking at all those 166 previous episodes we've done. And yet, we've come back for more, haven't we? And we do so week after week. Why is that, do you think? Because we believe in ourselves? Indeed, just as our listeners are coming to do in relation to money stuff. Well, after all, I believe what I tell myself is a phrase to consider. On the meaning of that, I just do not get her. Have faith in... Oh, that's bad. Have faith in yourself and your plans. Well, I was AI, DT, but we're working on it. But for now, make sure you understand all the demands. Listen to advice and take it to heart. But in the end, you still have to do your own part. Be confident, be bold, be new. Avoid quick thoughts in what you do. Research likely means success. And facts just don't mean you'll stress. You trust your hunches by themselves and in bunches. Patience is key and rewarding in time. And it helps to invest, the right dime. Trust in yourself and what you've been told. Because investing can be better than gold. De verdad is the rule when investing in stocks. Yeah, don't be fooled by false promises or fancy talks. I believe what I tell myself is the phrase to remember in the game that takes years. Not just once through December. Yes, to take risks. Just think through your quest. Because success in investing comes to those who are best. Phew, and that is a lot to digest.
That's good.
Well, fortunately, we don't have to digest it. In fact, we probably shouldn't. How's that? What do you mean? I mean that we need to take the time. Oh, to play the right note again? We already talked about that.
In Spanish, the man said, ya hablamos de eso.
We always talk about that. That's because it's always worth talking about, DT, and you know that. Right, so what are you saying? I'm saying that we should take that time, as we've well pointed out. But when I say we shouldn't digest something, yeah, this very something today, go on. Yes, this very something, we should keep it alive and squirming right in front of us. As opposed to digesting it? Yes, out of sight, out of mind, Yeah, I guess I do. I just hadn't thought of it that way. Which is exactly why we do this, to translate, not just actions, but to allow ourselves to explore different ways of thinking about something or someone.
Here comes this week's Shakespeare Easter egg line.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company. Right, Shakespeare it is, even though it's a bit out of context this time. So if I'm getting it right then what? Then when I repeat certain things over and over, yes, I'm on the right track, right? Am I on the right track? You are very much my obstinate grouping of illustrious fish. Yeah, thanks. I'm sure I will hear your point or points eventually. Yes, and that they will burn themselves into my mind, changing your very way of thinking. Yes, of course.
That's good.
Yes, Fiona, it is good. And thank you for reminding us.
You are welcome, de nada, de rien.
That was easy Spanish.
Yeah, anyway. So as I was saying, yes, when we commit ourselves to something, when we impress it upon our minds, then we really believe it and act on it. Just like we do during
break number 1.
Hello, everyone. This is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Because we know you want to show us some serious love in return for the tremendous benefits you get from us, please subscribe to us in your favorite podcast player. You can find us on both the App Store and the Play Store because our message is for everyone. Leave a rating for us, or even better, tell a friend. Whichever you choose, thank you so much for helping us do this for you. To leave us a written message, which just might lead to more in a future podcast, go to those same written show notes to find our subreddits. There is also our Facebook group page, Twitter, and other ways which we'll tell you about from time to time. You can also find an Easter egg every so often, so listen closely. Thank you again, and keep those constructive ideas coming. Thump, thump, thump. What's that noise, DT? It's me impressing. Impressing, right. Tell me more, s'il vous plaît.
That's.
We know, Leah, s'il vous plaît is used all the time in English. Reminding you that I and the listeners want more, my friend. Of course they do, and you and I do. And now that we're back from that first break, we can go into those detailed examples. I can't wait, personally. Me neither, so let's get started. It's okay, John.
That is the line of Mr. DT.
Just enlighten us as to how we can make ourselves believe something. Oh, okay. I'll not only do that, I'll make sure that we all understand why. Indeed, kind sir, why? But first, we're not done with that impressing thing. Whatever do you mean? What did you mean is exactly the question. Thank you for asking. What do you mean by impressing? I'm impressing things on my mind, so I believe them. Oh, I see. Well, just so you know, it doesn't involve thumping sounds like you were making. That's my yum, so don't yuck it.
Okay, said the sound designer.
Would you care to give us some detail about this impression process as you see it? I would, but what is? Come see, and in my voice most welcome you shall be.
As you like it.
Maybe, but makes a pretty good introduction to this example section, though. Thank you, DT. Now let's start with reflections on why we might do this. Okay. Why? Why what? Why do you believe what you believe? Is this a trick question? It is not. I am quite serious, DT. Then maybe you could help me out by telling me what you mean. I simply mean that you should reflect on why you have come to a specific belief and how it relates to the goals that you have, how it feeds those goals or helps you accomplish them. Which is quite like your idea of starting with why, isn't it? It is, DT, but actually that's not my idea. It's the idea of a guy named Simon Sinek. But it's a good one, don't you think? Very much so. It's why I like it. Anytime we take the time to reflect on our decisions and the reasons for them, we've gone a long way toward solving our problem. And wait a minute, there's that take the time thing again. Yes, and we should always do that. There's a lot of things we should do, whether we realize it or not. Anything else we can do?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
And it is. It's a true statement, DT, but yeah, there's stuff we can do. Okay, I'll help you out here. It starts with an R, and it rhymes with research. It wouldn't be research, would it? It would, my dear rotting lily pad. See, I got that one in this time. Yeah, you did. So what I'm saying here is appreciate perspective. Because when you understand perspective, then you understand why you might yuck something while someone else yums it. Well, people are different, aren't they? Yes, and this celebrates that, while also helping all of us move forward and succeed. Now, all we have to do is get the analysis done, instead of just talking about it. Right, but it will help us evaluate the evidence for our own beliefs, without talking to ourselves. Which is a good habit to acquire. Because why? Because it enables you to hear out both sides of any argument and consider all perspectives, including ones you might have dismissed earlier. Because that might involve learning.
Talk about deep learning.
Are you now satisfied?
Don't forget that by considering the disagreements that some people might have with you, you might understand more about legitimate points and reasons they have for their own beliefs. Well, whatever it takes to challenge yourself. And make sure that what you believe is well-founded. What else might you do? Good question. You could consider pros and cons and make a list to do that. Yeah, making a list of the pros and cons could help you better understand your own thoughts, right?
Or at least prioritize them with some method like the Eisenhower or Ivy Lee or some such.
Yeah, and of course, there's always talking. Like we're doing now? No, not quite. I mean with friends, not scripted, to get their perspective and to get their input and insights. As long as they don't disagree with you, you mean? Well, actually, no, because if they do, That's even better. It is? Why? Because it's far more likely to lead to learning and you understanding their point of view as well as your own beliefs. And this will improve your investing, I assume? It certainly should. It has for me. How so? Well, for one thing, it's helped me to allow myself to be more kind to myself. You've said that kind to yourself thing before. What exactly do you mean? Well, let's say you have 10 things to do in a given day, and you only get 8 of them done. Sounds like a shortcoming to me. Perhaps, because that's how I set it up, but it's not. Look at it differently. It's 8 things done that you don't have to worry about tomorrow. And that does make you closer to your goal, doesn't it? Yes, it does. So, if your goal is quality investing, then get a bunch of stuff done and move on to the next day. Right. You've read the outside sources and you've considered your portfolios, so now you can take a step back and enjoy. It's one place where comparing yourself to others might actually yield some amazing benefits. Absolutely. And as we all know, you shouldn't generally do that, especially via social media. Comparing yourself to others, you mean? Right. Right. I mean, not if we're afraid that we're missing out on something. Which we probably aren't. But we might be. Really? What do you mean? Well, I could explain in a lot more detail what we might miss. Yes, DT. Speak out about that, please.
But first, break number 2.
We know a lot about you already because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to our podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. So as soon as you're done with that, tell us your story. We have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a message. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know if that happens. The reason for subscribing? I thought you'd never ask. When you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. It just happens in your player without you having to go search again. How cool is that? This means better rankings for the podcast, more attention from advertisers, and more money. And this means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe today, whatever app and from whatever place you like. And don't just try to subscribe. There is no try. There is only do. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Eso es bueno, Sybil. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Our call to action is right in the show notes. Find it, and you win too. I see you. I do. I see you. DT? Who are you talking to, DT? The past. The past? The second act. I'm seriously confused. Why? The second act just passed. And that's a good thing? It sure is. For me, at least, right now. And why would that be, mon ami?
That's my friend, in French.
Everything sounds good in French, doesn't it?
Let's see, sorbet ou haricot vert. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Green bean ice cream? Are you nuts? Not exactly. That was French. And the last time I checked, being Thai was not being nuts. Okay. Different then. I believe what I tell myself, remember? Really? And what are you telling yourself right now? I am telling myself that whatever I impress on my mind is what is true. Oh, so you actually think that green bean ice cream is a good idea? Somebody does. And your point? My snuffling roast pickled hen? Now that sounds weird, but wait a second. What now? The past thing you said. The thing from the past? Yeah, that thing. What about it? We started this third act with you saying you could see the past. Oh, yeah, that. Well, that's because I think we missed something. Which is great. Really, it is? Yeah, it's great. It's joy. Joy? You mean that Dalai Lama book again? No, not this time. What joy then? The Jomo joy. Jomo? Yeah, it's like FOMO, except it means the joy of missing out. Oh, that's funny, because things happen, don't they? Yeah, but not just any things. What kind of things? Things which seek to distract us from our goals, or what we really need to know. So, we end up with people saying things like, I'm so afraid to invest my money in the stock market. You are? Why? What's making you so anxious? No, I'm not anxious. I'm just playing the role that you just set up. Okay, I think I understand now. Go on. I'm worried about losing what little money I have. And that's a very common fear, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can take control of your own investments and learn how to protect yourself. That sounds like a lot of work. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Oh yeah, now I suppose you're going to tell me that with the right resources and education. Yes, TT, with the right resources, you can make smart decisions about, see, about how to invest your money. Hey, the truth is that the most important factor in investing is what you tell yourself. Okay, that's a really good point. I'll give you that, John. I think I just need to take a deep breath and accept that there is risk involved, but if I believe in myself, I can make the right decision. That's right. So remember, I believe what I tell myself.
Which is how you've all gotten good.
Gracias por escuchar.
Salut. À la prochaine.
This podcast and our other podcast are productions of Little Red Hen Industries. The supporting cast who helps me bake the bread includes
Techno King, John C. Brandy, Alter Ego, Doubting Thomas, Fact Checker, A Small Brown Beef Animal, Really Tiny, Facts Are Important But Are Also Easy, Social Manager, Abraham Lincoln, Media Expert, Augustus Caesar, Psychologist, William James, Sound Designer, Adobe's Creative Suite, Language Consultant, Leah, the French Do-Your-Own Research Lady, Videographer, Etomon Koshki, Audio Props, Les Paul, Inspiration, many podcasts and other sources and of course Napoleon Hill.
We also have websites, and you can subscribe to both podcasts. You can even send us a video, audio, or text message, but of course you'll have to head to the show notes, either on your phone or on the web, to get the links and stuff. And all those clickable links are in the show notes.
And before we forget, the artificial intelligence or AI voices that you hear in our work are offered up by Google, Amazon Polly, and OpenAI like we say in the show notes. They don't sponsor us yet, but we love what they do and we just love what AI can do when lovingly crafted.
Finally, you can find us on Podmatch.com, Matchmaker.fm, Podbooker and Podcast Guests, where we consider guests and consider guesting on other people's shows.
And really finally, the music for our pods comes from Cute by Ben Sound and from Piano Background by Nick Simon Adams, as well as from AI MuseNet. The sound effect credits go to Jackson Academy Ashmore, Canusi G, Dr. Jekyll, Joe Payne, Everything Sounds, MK Play More Stories, ERH, Sand Emotions, Big Pickle 51, and Just Kidding. Yes, that's his or her name. All on freesound.org. Also, languages are the bomb.
Paul.